The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Here we are, show number 489. And once again, I want to remind you to go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio, where you can see and hear the shows. Not just this show, but any show pretty much for the last 2+ years, maybe 3 years. Once again, stewart.com/radio. Let's get down to business as we welcome real estate broker Rose Foray with Foray Real Estate. Rose, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Good afternoon.
Well, here we are. Real estate, your company is Foray Real Estate. You're also affiliated with another company. We'll find out later. But in the meantime, let's tell people about Foray Real Estate.
Sure. So I started my company in 2017. And I'm in the Katy area. We service all of Houston and surrounding areas. But I started back in 2017, and it's been a very exciting time in my career, and I look forward to what's coming tomorrow.
And that's the thing about real estate, Rose, isn't it? Every day is different. Every transaction's a little bit different.
Yes. Every morning's different.
That's right. And let's tell people, as we talked before we started, you have a tremendous amount of experience. How many years?
20+ years in real estate in Texas.
A lot of transactions under the bridge.
Yes. Built a lot of strong relationships, have great clients and people that I've worked with for many years, repeat business, and that's what it's all about in our business, is building those relationships for more opportunities. Well, we focus on our area because it's important to be an expert in the area that you are practicing real estate, and you can't be everything for everybody. So it's important to focus on the area that you wish to market or the niche that you wish to go after in your business. So we focus in our neighborhoods pretty much, which is our Houston market.
And then when we say Houston, also you have an office in Katy, is that correct?
That's correct.
You're located in Katy,
yes.
So you're kind of familiar with all these different areas.
Yes, I've lived in the Katy area for probably over close to 30 years now.
What's the marketplace right now for buyers and sellers? How would you describe it?
I think right now we're seeing a lot more buyers, believe it or not, even though there's just a lot of everybody talking about interest rates are really high and people want to wait till next year when interest rates are lower. We're not really seeing that. That's right.
Sure.
We don't have a crystal ball. And so I also teach real estate classes, and so I get that question asked a lot by students. Is this a good time for me to have my license? People aren't buying because they're scared of interest rates. And no, that's up to us to make sure that we change that in people's minds, because it's not true. Buyers are out there buying and investors are purchasing, and it's a great time right now.
Investors, you're saying, are out there as well in the marketplace.
Yes, they are. I probably get 3 or 4 texts a day from investors asking me if we have any properties that I'm aware of that are called pocket listings, that are outside of being listed in your board, your MLS, multiple listing system. And so there's investors calling every single day asking if we have any properties available that they could pay cash for and let us represent them right now.
And for the investors that you're talking with, what are the kind of properties they're looking for? What's
they
the profile,
want fixer-ups. They want properties that they can put money into and flip or keep for rental properties. And they are looking for deals, which there isn't a lot of deals right now. Most of the properties that they're interested in are going to be properties that are going to need a lot of work. You're going to have to put a lot of money in to get the after repair value. Therefore, they want very low $80,000, $90,000 homes, and then they want to be able to sell them for about $250,000 and put all that money into them.
Well, not only that, when we think about the money they need to put into them, that requires, I'm just thinking of my own home, just fixing things up. You have to find people to do the work, and then it takes time. You have to check the work. So there's a big time factor in there as well.
And a lot of investors have hard money loans or open lines of credit also. So you see a little bit of everything.
So the investors are out there, but the, quote, normal buyers are out there as well.
Oh, yes, we're busy.
So I want to buy a home in Katy. What kind of price ranges do you tell people that they, for a nice home, what kind of price range would we be in the Katy area?
Well, you know, there are certain areas of Katy that are going to cost you a lot more to be able to get into those neighborhoods. I'm going to say the price to get into Katy for a nice home in an established area that has amenities around you, you're going to be looking at probably $350 plus easily. And then it goes much higher than that. And that's just going to be a very simple home. Even builders out there are in the 350s for a lot less square footage. So if you go into Cinco, for example, Cinco Ranch is on the map. It's always been on the map in Houston. You're going to be paying $400,000 plus for homes like that.
So we're getting into a higher price range. So there's an area near Interstate 10 that has a great location in the Katy. In fact, really where Katy sort of begins and Houston ends, pretty much Fry Road, right? So when you go into the, say, Green Trails, are you familiar with Green Trails?
Oh, yes, I sold in Green Trails.
So Green Trails is nice because it's near the freeway and it's green.
I love it.
Lots of trees.
I love Green Trails.
So what
homes
about-
don't become available in Green Trails very often. Right now, we're short on inventory in general in our market, but Green Trails is one of those areas that people look for houses to become available because they don't last on the market. That's a great area to be in.
Now, the only downside, if there is a downside, and it's that thing that we all have to compromise a little bit when we buy, the homes are older.
It's okay.
By let's say 1992, 1993.
Yes.
But then you get the green. You get
That's right.
tons of trees.
You get a lot of homes with character, and and a lot of charm. It's a great location. People are still buying for location, and that's a great location.
So, Katy, the next stop is Fulshire. Would that be correct?
Yes.
So it's massive Katy, but Fulshire also is enjoying a popularity right now like never before. Tell us about Fulshire. What's going on?
Well, there's a lot of growth in Fulshire also. There is a lot of new construction. And in my opinion, Fulshire and Katy are kind of starting to mesh together now. Like they're coming together. Fulshire is a great area. Also, it's kind of one of the areas that are being sought after right now. I think they go through phases. You know, certain areas go through phases. Katy was real big on the map for a while. Now you're seeing people extending out further now and to the Fulshire areas and even a little bit further out the Katy area. So you have different communities that are on top of everybody's mind for a while. That was Bridgeland for a long time. So, but Fulshire is an also great area to live in.
Before we close the segment, we have a few minutes left still. Did you want to talk? You have another company that you're affiliated with.
Yes.
And I was at the grand opening. Let's tell people about Toro Realty.
Thank you so much for attending our ribbon cutting.
It was exciting and fun.
Thank you. It was a storm like never before. Last time it rained in Houston, had to be that day. But it's okay. We made the best of it, and we had a great, great time. So Toro Realty is out of Las Vegas. And they actually have franchises. They cater to the Latino market, and they have been implementing Toro Realty for the last 3 years to come into Texas. They offered me the opportunity to be their broker for Texas a couple of months ago. And so we are going to be marketing in all areas of Texas, and hopefully we're going to grow their brand and opportunities for everybody in Texas.
That sounds very exciting. So
this
is in Texas. How many locations will they have in Texas?
Good question. So every franchise owner, when they come on board, they commit to 10 locations within 5 years. So you have area managers and territory managers, and they can choose to sell some of their area if they want to, or do what they want to do with it. So that's great opportunities for all of us because we're going to have a lot of locations. There's supposed to be 120 predicted in the next 5 years just in Houston alone. That's not even including other markets that we're going to work, which will be El Paso, the Valley, McAllen, Brownsville, San Antonio. So there's a lot of work to be done, but in the doom and gloom that people think our market's in right now, it's actually the opposite. A lot to look forward to.
Give us a quick word on that comment, gloom and doom. It's really not gloom and doom, is
It's
it? I don't see
not.
that.
No, absolutely not. A lot of it has to do with your mindset and what you believe in. And if you really feel like you can succeed in this business, you will succeed. But if you listen to others that are just telling you things, but they're not facts, it can take you down the wrong road. So I will absolutely tell you that this is a great career, great opportunities, but you have to have an open mind.
We're talking with Rose Foray with Foray Real Estate and Toro Realty. Rose, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
I just want to let everybody know that if you choose to get into real estate, you made the right decision, but you have to understand that it starts with you and it ends with you. Don't give up. Believe in yourself, believe in your market, and make a difference.
And let's tell people how to reach you in case they want help buying or selling real estate in Houston. How can they reach you?
Sure, you can reach out to me at any time. My number is 832-387-8242. And I also have an office off of I-10 in Greenhouse in the Katy area. And you can find me on social media or anywhere else to get a hold of me.
And the phone number again is
832-387-8242.
Rose, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciated the opportunity today.
As we continue to talk real estate, we have Anju Asbill. She is with Greater Houston Real Estate Partners. Anju, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's great to see you. Also, let's tell people, first of all, Greater Houston Real Estate Partners, let's tell people about your company.
Sure. I've actually been in the real estate business for over 20 years, and a group of agents decided to break away and develop our own company because we wanted something that we could collaborate with and have a really good vibe. So we had developed this idea of a team that we would make into an office where we were all collaborating and had good vibes. So in 2018, we started this company. I'm the broker, and we've grown to about 23 agents. We're a little boutique office in the Katy, Fulshire area, and we enjoy what we do.
It's very exciting, isn't it? That marketplace is just really something.
It is.
As far as give people an idea as far as the approach that your company takes to real estate, how would you describe it?
Well, because we are a boutique, we take it to where everybody can collaborate with each other, where we have meetings, where we try to have fun events with the agents, with the clients, with our vendors, and kind of promote the community. We get involved. We have classes at our office. We try to really collaborate with teamwork. And try to bounce ideas off each other. So whenever we have, any situations or problems, we are a big team where somebody can throw out questions, or they have a problem, or they need help with an open house. Our agents all collaborate together to try to help each other. Whenever somebody's on vacation, we have somebody that's helping them out. So it's more of a team effort, even though we're all individual agents.
Like the great John Maxwell says, it takes teamwork to
does.
make the dream work.
It does.
Without the right team, it could be a nightmare.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
Are you helping more buyers or sellers, or
Well,
is it even?
It's actually kind of even. We do have some agents that actually concentrate a little bit more on the listing side, where they help some developers, and they're also helping builders. We also have the other side, which maybe are a little bit newer agents, that they're sphere of influence and things like that are kind of more on the buyer side. So we tend to see a little bit half and half. Right now, I'm a little bit more, I think, buyer heavy than I am listing heavy. But typically on a regular year for me, it's half and half.
And as far as 20 plus years of experience, so you've
been around.
You've been around. You've
Yes.
seen a lot of things.
Yes.
As far as the changes in real estate, I mean, 20 years ago, I don't know. I guess they had the internet. I kind of forget when it became a big thing. But remember the key maps
Yes.
and things like that?
Yes. I actually had a Facebook post where I showed a whole bunch of key maps because that's what I used to give to all my relocation clients. Back in the day, I did a lot of BP, ConocoPhillips, Shell when they were all moving into the area and the companies were moving everybody in. And luckily, Katy was one of the big areas that they wanted to come to because of the school district. We have a very strong school district in our area, and everybody wanted to kind of move into that. So it was just really nice to have all these people from Alaska and Chicago and California all kind of moving into our area. So it was really nice where we grew green trails and then Grand Lakes and then Cinco Ranch. So it kind of all flowed down that Fry Road area. And now we're kind of in that Cross Creek Ranch area now. All in all, it's just been one of those golden areas. I mean, you just can't go wrong living in the Katy area, no matter how good or bad the market is.
I think you're right, and I live in the area. But I want to go back to your Facebook post with the key maps. I'm going to guess those that have been around real estate in Houston, Texas, and I'm picturing it. I didn't see your post, but I'm imagining when they saw that post, it kind of warmed their heart in a nostalgic way.
It did. They were like, we still have ours, you know, and yes, it's great when the internet's not working or you can't get Wi-Fi because you know these days these agents are spoiled. They've got, you know, their iPhones that just take them to wherever they're going. I had to actually map the roads that I was going and how I was going to get to the house from, you know, if I was showing 10, 20 houses because they were only there for the weekend to buy something. And, you know, it was get as many homes in as we possibly could.
But the new agent right now has so many things, like you're saying, at their disposal. I think the challenge is discernment. Mm-hmm. How do we know which ones to use? But number two, correct me if I'm wrong, the basics are still there. And theoretically,
yes,
the job could be easier for the new agent, but you still have to develop relationships, mm-hmm, can maintain relationships, and exceed expectations. That's business since the beginning of time, I think.
Yes, definitely customer service and you know, building that client relations, that's the number one. It doesn't matter how many tools you have, what kind of online service you've got or, you know, websites and things like that. I mean, really, most people are looking online for the houses, but they need a person that's going to be personable and work with them to be able to steer them in the right direction and do all these things. And that's going to be on a one-on-one personal. It doesn't have anything to do with what's online, the internet, technology. It really is. It really does come down to people communication.
And give us an idea, as a broker, when you have a new agent that is considering your company or you're considering someone, what would you say to someone that's out there that's thinking about being in real estate and or is just getting ready to have their credentials and they're going to look for a broker? What do you see from your years of experience who makes a very good real estate agent? When you talk to someone new, can you kind of have a feel if they're going to be successful? If so, what are those qualities that you look for?
They definitely have to be a good communicator and they have to be a go-getter. I mean, it really starts with them and it ends with them. It's one of those things that, you know, some agents want things handed to them, you know. It's like, how many leads are you going to give me? Do you have a lead generation thing? And it's like, you know, those things really don't work, you know, no matter how many lead generation programs and things like that, you know, other companies are pushing. It really ends up coming to the sphere of influence, people that trust you, people that know your character, your integrity, because that's what carries you through a transaction.
I like the term you use. I used to use it a lot. You've reminded me, go-getter. That's right. Mm-hmm. We have to, in any field, we have to be go-getters. There's no room to relax. In any field, any category of life, you have to go out there.
You do. You have to fight for your business.
Yes.
You really do. And unfortunately, I see, you know, the new generation always behind technology. You know, they're behind the camera, they're behind the screen more than they are outside and actually talking with people and meeting people and doing those kind of things that really will help generate their business.
You're exactly right. You have to leave the house. You have
Yes.
to go out and talk to people because think about our lives. In the successful relationships you've had, whether it was a real estate buyer or seller, it's because you did something or you were somewhere
Correct.
in a position to have that opportunity.
Exactly. You have to give yourself the opportunities and you have to build those opportunities by being out there. Being, you know, sitting in the office, you're not going to get anything. People aren't just calling you.
They're not just, hey, will you please
You
let
got
me
it.
buy
Yes, you got to go grab them.
That's right. We're talking with Anju Asbil. She's the broker with Greater Houston Real Estate Partners. Give us an idea. You mentioned the school district in Katy. We hear that a lot. It's still a great school district.
It is.
And that's
it's
still an
number
attraction.
one. Yeah, it's still one of the top ones in the state of Texas. Correct. We keep growing. They keep adding new schools. But I will let you know that, some of the surrounding school districts are just as great.
Fulshear.
Yes, Fulshear is just as wonderful. We see a lot of growth there. So it's the same people moving from Katy to Fulshear, and just to kind of Katy's grown so big. We've got a little bit of traffic situation. And so everybody's kind of moving further west. And luckily, we still have land in Texas where builders are developing and building.
If someone said to you, I don't know if I'm going to be in Katy or Fulshear, what are the considerations that you walk them through? Because they're so close.
They really
are. They're both
are.
attractive in many ways.
Yes. It just depends on what they're looking for as far as property. I mean, Katy, I feel like, is still a little bit pricier. Fulshear tends to be a little bit less expensive. However, the new construction prices still kind of go up. So you're still looking starting range, maybe if you're lucky, $350, and then it's going up to $1 million because you can buy acreage, out there in Fulshear. So it just kind of depends on what you're really looking for. School district-wise, I feel like they're kind of similar. Katy still has kind of a little bit more of a reputation than Lamar. So it just depends. But you I think you can have a higher GPA in Lamar than you could in Katy. And if you're thinking about certain things for GPA standards or sports, it's a little tougher, I think, to get on a team in Katy because the schools are just ginormous and you're competing with a lot of kids.
Well, we hear a lot about seasons, and a lot of times we hear the spring and beginning of the summer is a very active time. But right now we're approaching October.
Yes.
September, October. What about this time of year historically in your 20-plus years of selling?
To be honest with you, I find that before the end of the year, we always get a big influx of buyers coming in because everybody's trying to beat the end of the year, homestead exemptions, things like that. Now, granted, that's changed a little bit because now you can claim it, as soon as you purchase your home. But we always have somebody coming in during that mid-school year break. And then a lot of times, unfortunately, it's just they're not able to move during the summer like they want. So we do see that second lag at the end of the year where everybody's still searching. And luckily, there's still inventory. Granted, we've been a little slow on our inventory recently, but I feel like it'll still be great.
And theoretically, it's cooler. My favorite time of year
yes,
to buy.
To definitely look at houses, for sure.
Before we close this segment, Anju, what else would you like people to know?
Well, you can always reach me at 281-844-1199. I love to work with first-time homebuyers. I love to work with investors. I'm one of those people that really like to do new builds because I like to do the blue tape with the buyers and let the builders know, hey, this needs to be corrected. So, and all of my buyers have really appreciated that.
Quick thought. Take your last 20 buyers. Mm-hmm. How many have been cash buyers, by the way?
I'm going to say probably 30%.
It's a nice number.
Yes.
Anju, let's tell people the number again is
281-844-1199.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
As we continue, it's time to talk money again as we welcome Stephen Curtis of the Stephen Curtis Group. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for having me.
Money's always fun to talk about. It's always fun to have a lot of. And when we buy a home, sometimes we pay cash, but a lot of times we reach out to you and your company, Stephen Curtis. So let's tell people, Stephen, about your company.
Well, I started in the business in 2003, actually late 2002. And like many people in the business, at some point, if you want to grow and build something for yourself, you have to take a chance. So me and a small group of people in 2016 decided to start our group, and we've had a lot of growth. We have 3 locations in Houston. We have one in Atascocita, one in Katy, and one in the Clear Lake area, closer to Galveston. And we've got about 51 people, and it's built itself over time, and we're actually having a pretty good year this year.
Providing loans to so many people as you're covering all those bases. That's a very active parts of Houston, all those areas you mentioned.
Yeah, it's three really great markets with a lot of growth. Atascocita being the one that we've brought on most recently. You've heard from some of the other ladies today that, the Katy-Fulshear area is just very abundant, lots of new construction, lots of homes, a lot of people, a lot of transient buyers move into that area from outside of the state or other parts of the state. And then in our home office, the Friendswood League City area, we have the same thing. A lot of building, a lot of resale. We actually probably have a little bit more inventory than the Katy-Fulshear area. So buyers are having a nice time in our general market because they are probably finding a little bit better deal. But yeah, it's nice. We haven't had inventory in years. So now that we're starting to get some, we're starting to really encourage people to take advantage of that because in our current rate environment, I believe that when rates do go down, those prices will go up. So I think they have a unique opportunity to purchase right now while there's inventory.
Well, before the show, we talked about a few things that are distinctions to your company and or they're distinctions that relate specifically to your experience. And here today, everybody has 20-plus years of experience. It's fascinating to have seasoned professionals like you and the others. But let's tell people some of those distinctions and how your experience, and that's transfers to your team, of course, how that's helping people that are in the market, investors or regular, quote, normal buyers.
Sure. So for our organization, we service more than just the traditional loans. So what we were talking about earlier is right now we have to be very creative. With a higher rate environment, there are still deals closing every day. Again, like some of the other people talked about, it all goes down to mindset, but also what tools do you have available to you? So going into this year, being innovative with products and making sure that you have a full array of things available so that when you do have a potential buyer that wants to buy a home, you have every opportunity to say yes so that they don't go to another competitor to get that yes. So aside from the traditional mortgages of conventional, FHA, VA, and USDA, we also have all of the first-time home buyer programs. We have the non-qualified mortgage programs, of which there are really three tranches that we talked about earlier. One for the tax identification borrowers. So they're here paying taxes legally but don't have a citizenship or permanent resident alien status. We also do bank statement or profit and loss loans for your self-employed borrowers that are not showing appropriate income on tax returns. And then we also have a debt service credit loan for investors that as long as they have a certain percentage of cash flow to the principal income taxes and insurance payment, we will allow them to get that loan without verifying income because it's all based on the actual debt. So that, along with our access to private money and hard money for the investors, which is a big portion of the deals that are happening right now, they're very, very active in this market, just gives us a better chance to say yes, Bill. We never want to say no.
So let's tell people, here you are all these years as you're helping people, and maybe this hopefully can serve those that are younger, but in all, you have the opportunity to see the finances and financial snapshots of individuals, families, and even investors for many, many years, over 20-some years. So what advice would you give someone based on that experience and the things that you see? Because I guess you see the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Sure. Yeah, I would say if you don't want to be frustrated, be organized.
Let's say that again. That sounds real good and good advice.
Yeah, if you don't want to be frustrated in the process of buying a home, just be organized. I mean, in today's technology-driven world, I mean, who doesn't have access to their income, pay stubs, W-2s, and bank statements within 30 minutes? So if you're serious about buying a home, block out 30 to 60 minutes to have a real conversation with your mortgage advisor. Have access to your computer in front of you. Download those things during that single conversation. Your approval process can be very quick. And I think that you'll find that if you are organized up front, your entire process will be a lot better. No horror stories for the people that do the work up front.
When you see people that have lower credit scores, and if you are able to identify that they're low because of something they could have, other than a disaster, a medical disaster or something, but when you see that the score is low because it's something they didn't do or they were lax in, what usually is that thing? I mean, money's so important to handle wisely. And again, I'm kind of reaching out here to the youngsters, the teenagers, those that have the opportunity to build What's the financial advice you would give someone just to stay on top of it? Don't make the mistakes that you apparently see every now and then.
Yeah, I do see them. The unfortunate part is we do not train our youth in financial literacy.
There you go.
So parents, if you're listening, you have a moral obligation to teach your kids about debt and the responsibility of debt, because it is very hard to regain a good credit score once you have diminished it. It can take a whole lifetime to receive an 800 credit score, and it can take 1 month to eliminate it.
To knock it down, right?
So it does not rebuild quickly, Bill. So when we see that, what I like to say is there's two different kinds of 600 credit scores, right? There's a 600 credit score on the way up, and there's a 600 credit score on the way down. And the 600 credit score on the way up is the one that we want to spend the extra time to make sure they become a homeowner. And the 600 on the way down, we want to offer them solid advice on how to stop, regain their composure in their financial portfolio, and then show them a path to be a homeowner. So when I said earlier, I don't want to say no, our motto is actually we don't say no, we say how. So we're always looking for a way to give them a path. Now, whether they follow it or not is up to them, but I'm always going to give you the hope and the direction. And we've built our company that way.
So how long, if someone's, here we are again in August, coming upon the end of the year, if someone's thinking about buying a home, I don't know, October 1st or so, mid-October, when's a good time to talk to you?
Yeah, you apply immediately because you don't know what you don't know. Even though we have free credit monitoring available at our fingertips, that doesn't mean everybody's utilizing those services. So your credit report is good for 120 days. So if you applied today, you'd be good through December. So if you're thinking about buying by the end of the year, you apply immediately. We want to know if there's anything we need to be working on now, not when you fall in love with the home and are staring in front of it with your realtor at an open house. You want to know already that you can buy the home before you step foot in it. That is the way to do it. We're in an instant gratification model, but it just doesn't work that way sometimes. So the moment that you think you might buy, if you have a lease that's coming up in the next 3 months, you apply today. You always apply today. You want to buy the moment that you can afford to buy, period. Every day you wait is extra money, whether it be interest or appreciation or anything. So the best time to buy a house is yesterday.
If I apply today and you tell me in a few days or tomorrow, however long it takes, that, okay, Bill, you're approved for X dollars for, you said, what, 120 days?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're approved for X amount for a period of time, and now I have that to go out with the realtor and shop for homes, and the interest rate is one rate the day I apply. When does the rate get locked in?
Right. So in the last 2 or 3 years, we've had a lot of rate fluctuation. Right now is probably the most volatile I've seen it since 06, 07.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. So you have the ability to lock before you shop. Right now, it's just not worth it. So we give you a rate now. We explain the market to you. We can forecast somewhat what we think will happen. But the very first day that you receive your contract, we're having a serious conversation with you about today. This is what the deal looks like. If you like it, I would take it. There's no risk in taking it if you can afford it and you like the deal today. If you don't like it, it is your risk, right? I cannot make the decision for someone. I can only advise them. So we follow the market every day. We stay in tune with, what the Fed's doing, what the inflation numbers look like. We think we know pretty much what the next 4 to 6 months are going to look like, and we just try to give our best advice based on that. If you're buying a home and you're listening to this, you got a 30-day snapshot for us to get you the best rate possible, and that's what we're going to do. Inside of that 30 days, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the best rate possible is available during the time frame of your contract, that's what we're going to give you.
We're talking with Stephen Curtis with the Stephen Curtis Group. Stephen, before we close the segment, what else should people know?
Well, what I would say is if you are thinking about buying a home, you should. There's not going to be a better time in the next 5 years than right now, in my opinion. When rates go down, values will go up. If you saw what happened in 2020, 2021, where we had multiple people, we're not going to have so much inventory that there's just going to be freely available homes for everyone. If rates go back down, there's a lot of money sitting in people's accounts waiting that are sitting in homes with good interest rates. And as soon as those rates go down, they're going to be a lot more comfortable moving. and you're going to be up against people that have a lot more equity than you and a lot more money at their disposal. So if you are able to buy, you buy right now. That's what I would tell people.
And Stephen, let's tell people how they can reach you, Stephen Curtis, with the Stephen Curtis Group.
Yes, my phone number is 832-398-1020, and my email is steve.curtis, C-U-R-T-I-S, @snmc.com. 832-398-1020.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. Here we are once again, always exciting, always interesting. And now everybody awaits the insurance segment.
Well, I want to share a little bit of different information today, because sometimes you're lucky that occurrences happen in your life that provide some really good learning, and they kind of all come together. And I was fortunate over the last week or so, between an event and a couple of articles that I came across, that really kind of brought a thought together that I know is important, and I'm sure everybody knows it's important, but sometimes we kind of forget about it. So the first element of the story was a week or so ago, was fortunate enough to attend a Houston Mortgage Bankers Association luncheon. And the speaker was a gentleman named Dave Savage, who's known as the mortgage coach. And Dave's talk that day was this idea of the advice revolution, that he feels like that's where we are from a business perspective. And his thought is the idea of providing advice or guidance or being an advisor with your clients versus just being a price supplier. So obviously his message was built around and built for mortgage bankers and lenders, loan officers. It applies to all businesses, and especially to this idea of the real estate world. So, being able to demonstrate options, being able to show here are considerations from one or the other, whether it be neighborhoods as you're helping somebody find a home, or comparing one home to the other, or, Stephen mentioned looking at different loan options and different loan plans that you can have versus comparing insurance options and plans to make sure that your clients have an understanding of what's available and it can help them make a better decision. And he talked a little bit about the importance of, and it's still important, the speed to the lead. But he said in this advice revolution, the thing that's kind of circumvented the speed to the lead is the speed to the need. And that's the ability to truly understand what your client's looking for, what your client's needs are. At Stewart Insurance, we call it immediate guidance. But it's not just that idea of immediate be able to help you, but let's go that step farther and immediately be able to guide you. But in order to do that, in order to be that advice, you've got to be able to recognize and find out what those issues are. So kind of the second element of the story was there was an article in the May-June issue of Entrepreneur Magazine, and they were featuring Khloe Kardashian and a lady named Emma Grede. And they have a fashion brand called Great American. And it's been quite successful, and they've been able to do that by offering a variety of sizes and a variety of fabrics, such as they have a product called Always Fits Jeans. And it's been quite amazing. And the thing that they said that took them over the top was they began learning by paying attention. What were their clients saying? What were their prospective clients saying? And it was both from talking to them as well as seeing what happens, seeing what the messages are in social media. And I think, Khloe Kardashian has something like 300 million followers, so just some crazy number. But they started paying attention. And then that was how they got to this idea of Always Fits Jeans. And then it's also led to other product expansions within their company. So I was thinking about, how does the advice revolution come into play and this idea of paying attention. And then there was an article recently in the Houston Chronicle from People University on some research that they did about active listening. And that's where it all kind of came back together, that a way that you can truly pay attention and then from that become that advisor, be a leader in this advice revolution, is the ability of truly being an active listener. Being that active listener allows you to navigate conversations, especially tough ones. Allows you to recognize opportunities, recognize keys that a client or an individual might be looking for. Obviously helps you better understand the situation and ultimately helps build that better relationship. So if you remember our friend Ron Willingham from Integrity Selling in the 21st century, his big mantra is building relationships, meeting needs, and providing value. And being an active listener, allows you to do that. And in the article, they talked about ways that you can, or techniques that you can use to be that active listener, as well as ways that you can demonstrate to the person you're having the conversation with. So, and they're all things that we're aware of. It's just sometimes we need to be reminded, but you build questions you build confidence in the relationship and trust by asking, probing questions. How can I help? What does success look like for you? And that could be, what does a successful home purchase looks like, or what kind of coverage will make you feel comfortable when we're insuring your home or when we're insuring your business. So asking those probing questions can build trust and confidence. Being able to demonstrate concern to show that you understand what their concerns are, what their challenges are, what their needs are, and being able to play that back, back to the situation. This is a tough one, but it's one that we all need to focus on. Wait to talk. Stephen Covey talks about seek first to understand, then be understood. And that's a tough one because we think a lot of us think what we have to say is so important that we have to jump right in, and there's nothing ruder than interrupting somebody. So, take the time to listen to what they say. Make sure you understand it before then you provide any thoughts that you have. Show that you're listening, eye contact, nodding the head, paraphrasing what they've said to make sure that you truly do understand. And then I'm going to say it again, don't interrupt. Listen to understand before you respond. They talked about sharing similar experiences, and I think this is okay to a limit, that it shows that you can relate to it, because if they see that you have a similar experience, that can help with the bond. But what you don't want to do is jump into, oh yeah, I did that, and it diminishes their situation. So it's a good way to support the relationship, but it's, sometimes too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So be careful about that. And then affirm and appreciate the discussion. The fact that thank you for, I appreciate the opportunity to be your insurance advisor. I appreciate the opportunity to help you begin your process of buying a home. Show that appreciation so that they can see and honestly feel that you're committed to their objectives.
Now, did you see how long I was active listening right there in a massive way? And I'm going to get the quote wrong, but it was George Bernard. That's classic right there.
That was excellent. Yes.
So we should take that on the road. But in the meantime,
it was George Bernard Shaw that said the single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place.
In terms of communicating, we think that, like you're saying, some of the pitfalls or things that detract from a listening situation and even talking is we think the words it's getting forth, but we have to really listen to know and to also get the reaction via the many things, language, the tone, the body language, all that stuff.
Well, in the research that People University did, they had a couple of things that were interesting. One, obvious, there's a difference between hearing and listening. The hearing is just a physical aspect that most of us have the ability to do. Listening is a disciplined task. It's a disciplined activity. And then there's the passive and active listening. So you can be messing around the house and have the radio on. That's kind of passive listening. But to truly active listen, you do have to be focused. And it's not something that you can do multitasking. If you're on a Zoom call and somebody's making a presentation and you're answering emails at the same time, you're not active listening.
Well, you mentioned 2 books, authors, and John, I'm reading a book right now on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
we are going to go on the show.
See how I blended that?
I like that. Yes.
So in the meantime, John, well, here we are. What else should we know? That's a great segment and great words.
So I think if you'd like to see some immediate guidance and you'd like to work with an organization on your insurance, whether it be as a real estate professional, as a realtor, a broker, a property management firm, a lender, independent title and attorney agent, and work with an insurance partner, an insurance advisor that's going to actively listen and make sure that we understand what your objectives are, what your needs are, and then help you build an insurance plan around that, I would hope you would give us a call. And the same goes for an individual or a family. As you're building your family's insurance or your individual insurance needs, whether it be for your home, your auto, wind coverage, flood coverage, motorcycle, vacation home, SUV, ATV, we can help with that. And you can reach Stewart Insurance at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. You can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And I could say firsthand, the associates at Stewart Insurance practice the disciplines you describe here today with active listening as I relate and talk to them about my home and auto insurance and even flood. And your company is helping people all over the United States. They can reach you simply by calling
866-798-2827.
There is John Bramlett. Thank you, John.
I appreciate it, Bill.
Stewart Title, I say it all the time, our business development people are the A+++ team. 2 of them are here today. A quick word from Kevin Davidson. Hey, Kevin, welcome back.
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Nice
Here
to be
we are,
back.
doing super work all the time out there. Let's tell people your offices are.
Sugarland and Richmond, right off of I-10 in Derry Ashford, and 762 Thompson Road in Richmond.
How's business out there these days?
It's up and down. It's up and down. I'll come in 2 or 3 days, and 8 contracts came in, and rest of the week, 2 or 3.
They dribble.
It's up and down.
Well, in the meantime, one of the things you're doing to help real estate professionals far and wide, you're helping them with classes all the time. So I see all the Facebook posts, so it seems like things never slow down in your world and your busy schedule.
I teach 2 or 3 times a week, or I have somebody come in and teaching. Speaking of that, partnering up with Carrie Jo Woodling, which is works with Stephen over there, next week, teaching my Google My Business class. And then on August 23rd, which is a week from this Wednesday, I'm partnering with 5 other vendors, and we're doing a massive 3X referrals program from 3 to 6 p.m.
And let's tell people how they can reach you, Kevin Davidson.
832-654-0527 or kevin.davidson@stewart.com. 832-654-0527.
Thank you so much, Kevin Davidson. And
Thank
now,
you, Bill.
also developing business for Stewart Title in a tremendous way, Joyce Eisenberg. Joyce, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Well, here you are, Joyce. Let's tell people what's going on in your offices, and let's tell them the offices that you serve.
You can always find me in Katy and Fulshear, Texas.
You're out there. Stewart Title, Katy, and Fulshear. Fulshear is in a very charming part of Fulshear, right? What do they call it, Old Town Fulshear?
Little downtown Fulshear there.
Downtown, good food all around, and a lot of culture there. As far as some of the things that you have going, you're also in the community, and that's how we met Rose at her open house and things like that. What are some of the other things you're doing?
Well, one of the things
You're bringing them on the radio.
And I do appreciate this opportunity. We definitely love coming here and talking to you. And one of the things we're working on right now is Bradford Tax Solutions class, because realtors need to know that all that commission they receive, they don't always get to keep, and they need to know how to manage their taxes well. So I'm looking forward to that on August 24th. It'll be a Zoom. So any of your listeners anywhere, they can join in on the Zoom. Just reach out to me at 832-389-4306. 832-389-4306.
And Joyce, you reminded me of a realtor friend I had that I might have been dating at the time, and she said, "Oh, I just got a $10,000 commission." I said, "No, you didn't. You just got about maybe $7,000, $70,000. You can't think of it like that."
Exactly. A lot of realtors get in trouble, and
yes,
I've heard them asking for more tax solution classes, so
that's a good
we're bringing one there.
A number again is?
832-389-4306.
Thank you so much, Joyce Eisenberg. Rose, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Well, I'd like to let everybody know that I am also an instructor. I am a teacher. I love to mentor and coach. I am looking for agents all over Texas. So if you are interested with the growth of Thoro Realty in the Texas market, we would love an opportunity to talk to you, and we can get together anytime that you can be available. We are very excited to talk to anybody that's interested in growing their real estate careers. My number is 832-387-8242. You can also reach me at www.thororealtytexas.com. 832-387-8242.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
And she is back, Anju Asbill.
Yes.
So here we are as we wind up the show. Let's tell people what else you want them to know about what you're doing in the real estate world as a broker in the west part of town, but you're helping people probably all over.
Yes, and that is the name, Greater Houston Real Estate Partners. We want to be your partner in real estate. So our 5 partners, we got together. We wanted to make sure that we grew a company that felt like a family. So every agent that's in there is kind of like a family member to us. And when you work with one of our realtors, you're not just getting them, you're getting the whole team, the whole office. We're all there behind them in answering their questions and helping them promote and doing all of the wonderful things that you can't just do by yourself.
Teamwork. Once
Teamwork.
again, super awesome.
Yes.
Let's tell people, Anju, how they can reach you.
Sure. You can always go to our website. It's www.greaterhoustonrep.com. And you can reach me at 281-844-1199. 281-844-1199.
Hey, so, Anju, if I'm a go-getter, I'm out there and
Yes,
I want to
please.
join the team, what do I do?
All you have to do is reach out to me. We'll have an interview, and we'll try to get you on that roster.
And you know what I'm going to say the first thing after I say hello and thank you? I'm going to say, hey, I'm a go-getter.
That's right. We want go-getters.
There you go. Thanks for being with us. He's back, Stephen Curtis. Well, here you are, Stephen.
Bill, I think anyone's been listening to this and they've listened to all
You're
these.
a go-getter, aren't you?
I think
See,
so.
I interrupted. I took
Yeah.
John's rule. I just broke it right there. But
Supposed to
you're
listen,
a go-getter.
Yeah, you're supposed to listen to understand, not to reply, Bill, I think was the rule. No, I think we are everybody here is a go-getter. But I think what I would like to say to anyone listening is, if you're just not sure, if you have almost given up on the idea of being a homeowner, I would say don't do that. I would say the time to start is now. Never give up. The reality of being a homeowner might be closer than you've ever thought, but you'll never know if you don't have a first conversation. And that's what we've built our business on. So we just want to be here to support this community like we have been for 21 years and continue to make people homeowners that just maybe don't think they can.
Stephen, let's tell people how to reach you.
My phone number is 832-398-1020. Again, it's 832-398-1020.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you all for being with us today. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett. We're encouraging you to go to stewart.com/radio. That's right, where you can see and hear all the shows, as many as you want for several years and maybe beyond, simply by going to stewart.com/radio. Thank you for listening. We would be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction. Reach out to us here in the Houston area by going to stewart.com to any of our business development people, escrow officers, or if you're outside of Houston, we are an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC, serving people all over. And oh yeah, we're going to be 130 years old in October, a few months from now. We don't look a day over 90. Check us out at stewart.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week